Yo, it's good everyone. This is Ayo Boxing from Adiba, and we're here to talk about if Edwin de los Santos can beat Shakur Stevenson. So we are 4 days away from Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin de los Santos, and this should be an interesting fight. On paper, this should be one of Shakur's toughest fights, if not his toughest fight, which makes this a good fight, especially since it is for the lightweight WBC belt. And I'm pretty sure that this is the first Thursday night title fight that boxing has had in a very long time. A lot of fans were clowning Shakur and Top Rank about this, which is understandable because Saturday nights are synonymous with boxing, and fighting on a Thursday forces them to compete with the NFL, but it's the Formula One weekend in Las Vegas, so it makes sense why Bob Arum wants to make this fight on a Thursday. This fight could expose Shakur to a wider audience and further propel his career. However, the same could be said about De Los Santos. He has been waiting for his opportunity to fight Shakur, and it's finally here. The question is, can De Los Santos beat Shakur? And I'm not sure, but I truly believe that De Los Santos can give Shakur a lot of trouble. The reason why I think that is because Shakur is not a fast starter. Shakur is the type of fighter that uses the early rounds to collect data and establish his rhythm and dictate the pace. He's a slow starter in the first few rounds and doesn't really get active until rounds 3 and 4. If De Los Santos can exploit those early rounds of low activity, Shakur will be in trouble, and I believe that De Los Santos has the attributes to do so. When watching De Los Santos, the biggest thing that pops out to me is how fast he starts. In his fight against Raul Valenzuela, De Los Santos was throwing heat as soon as the fight started. De Los Santos was letting his hands go in the first round, throwing fast and explosive combinations that were powerful, and was landing big shots early that were clearly bothering and hurting Raul. Because of this, Raul was unable to find his rhythm nor dictate the pace of the fight. He was essentially forced to fight De Los Santos at his pace, which put Raul at a disadvantage and ultimately led him to get stopped. If I'm not mistaken, Shakur has yet to fight someone as fast and explosive as De Los Santos. Furthermore, Shakur has yet to face a southpaw that has power in both hands. And with De Los Santos being a natural lightweight, Shakur is naturally smaller than De Los Santos, and we can assume that De Los Santos will also be the strongest opponent to date. These will be new questions that Shakur will need to find answers to. The biggest question that I have is, how durable is Shakur? Because of how good his defense is, Shakur has never been hurt. Oscar Valdez apparently hurt him with a body shot, but based on how that fight went, you wouldn't even notice. But because of how good his defense is, we don't know how good Shakur's chin is. We saw how cautious Shakur was against Jeremiah Nakatilia, so it's safe to assume that power bothers Shakur. It will be interesting to see how Shakur reacts if he does get hit. Furthermore, De Los Santos is fully motivated for this fight. He's been wanting this fight for a long time and has been calling out Shakur for more than a year. He even pulled up to Newark asking where Shakur was at. He finally has the fight that he's wanted for a long time, so I'm expecting De Los Santos to go for broke in this fight. But you have to remember that we're talking about Shakur Stevenson here. Raul isn't on the same level as Shakur, especially when it comes to footwork, defense, and distance management. Shakur is arguably the best pure boxer and defensive fighter in the sport. He has routinely neutralized and embarrassed his opponents to date, especially in the fights that people think he'll be challenged in. I thought that Yoshino would be somewhat troublesome to Shakur, but Yoshino got smoked. And the same thing can happen to De Los Santos. Despite being fast, explosive, and powerful with good boxing skills, De Los Santos has technical flaws and tendencies that can be exploited by Shakur, such as lunging in and circling right against the southpaw. Furthermore, Shakur spars with Terence Crawford, probably the best person to train to get ready for a southpaw. So I expect Shakur to be fully prepared for De Los Santos. In summary, I think this should be a good fight. I have Shakur winning this fight, but I wouldn't sleep too hard on De Los Santos. But I will definitely keep an eye on the co-main event, Emmanuel Navarrete versus Robinson Conceição. I have a feeling that if both Navarrete and Shakur win on Thursday night, Bob Arum will make them fight next year. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content coming your way.